Hire purchase is sometimes called a time payment plan, and what it is, it's if we can't afford to pay an item outright, we enter into an agreement with the shop where we can get the item and take it home, but we pay it off over a certain time period. The way hire purchase works is that we pay a deposit often, not always, sometimes you don't have to pay a deposit, and then we make equal instalments and pay off the remaining amount owing plus any interest that's been accrued. A couple of key points to note is that we calculate the interest using the simple interest rate formula, which is I equals PRT over 100. A couple of other key important things are that interest is calculated using the simple interest formula, not compound interest as in the reducing balance loans. It's a simple interest formula. And secondly, the principal is the amount owing, so that's the purchase price minus the deposit. This is really important because this is often what people get wrong. So make sure that you use P as the amount owing. Okay, it is not the purchase price, it's the purchase price minus the deposit. There's several different calculations we may need to use when we're looking at hire purchase. The first one we'll be interested in is calculating the amount of interest that we have to pay. And the first way we can do that is using the simple interest formula, where interest equals PRT over 100. Remembering that P is the amount that we borrow, it is not the purchase price. The second way is just finding out the total amount that we pay minus the purchase price. And that's also equivalent to saying the total amount that we're paying off in instalments minus the amount that we've borrowed. The next thing we might be interested in calculating is what the actual instalment amount is. So what are we paying every fortnight or every month or every week? And we can work that out by working out the total amount that we have to pay. So that's the amount borrowed plus any interest and divide it by the number of instalments. Sometimes we want to work out what the total cost of the item is if we're entering into hire purchase. And the total cost is going to be the deposit that you pay plus the loan, so whatever you owe, plus the interest. And we can also work it out by looking at the deposit plus the instalment amount times the number of instalments that we have to pay. And the last thing that we'll want to find out is what the flat rate of interest is, and we calculate that just using the simple interest formula, which is the interest rate R equals 100I over PT. Just a reminder, when you're doing that on your calculator, make sure you put P times T in brackets. So you do 100I divided by, open brackets, P times T, close brackets. Example 1. Julie purchased a used car on hire purchase. The cash price was $8,500. To pay for the car, Julie agreed to pay $1,500 deposit and $245 per month for 3 years. We're asked to find the amount of interest in dollars that Julie would pay during this time. In order to find the amount of interest, we can either work out the total amount that she pays, including the deposit, take away the purchase price. The purchase price is $8,500, and the total price that she's going to pay is going to be the $1,500 plus 36 lots, 36 because it's 3 times 12, of 245. So that would be 1,500 plus 36 times 245. That's none of our options. An alternative way of finding the interest is by looking at how much she pays in instalments and subtract the amount that she's borrowed. So the number of instalments she has is 36 times 245, and she borrowed 7,000 because it's 8,500 minus 1,500. So our answer here is C, 245 times 36 minus 7,000. Here, James has agreed to a hire purchase contract charging a flat rate of 8%. He's buying the car, which costs $5,400, and he's paying a deposit of $1,400. We're asked to calculate the amount he will pay per month if he makes 12 payments. To work out the instalment amount, we look at the total amount that he's got to pay back, which is the amount borrowed plus the interest, divided by the number of instalments. We know that the amount borrowed, which is P, is going to be $5,400, which is the purchase price, minus what he pays as a deposit, $1,400, so the amount borrowed is $4,000. And we can calculate the interest by doing PRT over 100, where P is 4,000, R is 8, and T is the number of years, which is 1. So the interest is $320. We then add on the interest to the amount borrowed, so that will be $4,320, and divide it by the number of instalments, which is 12, which gives us an instalment amount of $360 per month. The second part of this example just changes the number of payments he's making. So we do exactly the same as what we've done before, where we work out the amount borrowed. Okay. So the principal is staying the same, $4,000. This time the interest is going to be 4,000 times 8 times 1.5 years, because 18 months is 1.5 years. So the instalment amount this time is going to be 4,000 plus 480, which is 4,480, and divide it by 18 because we've got 18 instalments now. And that gives us an instalment amount of $248.89. Here, Anna has taken out a hire purchase contract to buy household goods to the value of $3,865. She is paying a deposit of $500, and the contract requires 20 monthly payments of $185. To find the flat rate of interest charged. To find the flat rate of interest, we're going to use a simple interest formula where R equals 100I over PT. We have to check that we've got everything. We've got P. P is the amount borrowed, which is $3,865 minus $500, which is $3,365. We've got T, time, which is 20 months or 20 over 12 years. We haven't been given I, but we can work out what I is. I is the difference between the total amount that we pay minus the amount that she borrows. So she pays 20 times 185 and she borrows 3,365. So the interest is 3,700 minus 3,365, or $335. Now we can sub in all those values into a flat rate of interest formula. So R is 100 times 335 divided by 3,365 times 20 over 12. Remember, it's really important that that goes into brackets on your calculator, and that gives us an interest rate of 5.97% per annum.